Allbirds sent me a pair of their all-wool shoes. I put them on. They were so white and breathable and comfortable. They didn't have any fancy logos on them. They just felt good on my feet, and they were nice. They looked good, and they felt good. Do you know why? Because the most comfortable shoes in the world are made of all wool. Even Time Magazine said that. And they've got a couple styles. They've got the Wool Runner, which is your go-to lace-up shoe for everywhere you go. It's flexible, supportive, and so light. They take you seamlessly through your entire day, whether you're at work or you're playing at night. And they also have the Wool Lounger. It's breathable, lightweight slip-on shoe that's perfect whether I'm traveling on a red-eye across the country or going to see a basketball game. The comfort, style, and sustainability do not have to be mutually exclusive. Allbirds is dedicated to making stylish, comfortable footwear that uses premium natural materials designed for life's everyday adventures. Allbirds textile is made from superfine New Zealand merino wool using fibers that are 20% the diameter of a human hair. So unlike the wool you may be used to, Allbirds' breathable fabric regulates temperature and moisture without any itch. The holidays are right around the corner. You should consider Allbirds for a gift for someone on your list or, better yet, yourself. They're available in a variety of colors and styles. Pick the perfect pair at allbirds.com.
Want an easy way to see if you could save money on car insurance? Geico gives you 3. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. Go online to geico.com or stop by the Geico office nearest you. 3 ways you could save 15% or more.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head to death. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood. Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Give me your boom.
He is Jalen Rose.
What up, though?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in.
And we are Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio. What do we do?
We get a people.
Yeah!
What they want.
Let's do it right now. Jalen Rose, me and you disagree about this. I feel like LeBron James is tired, especially in the second half of Game 1 and Game 2 of the NBA Finals. You disagree. Guess who agrees with you? LeBron James. Let's listen.
I look tired.
I don't know, people's
people.
to me when, that's the question I've been answering.
I feel
radio
great.
shows.
I'm averaging a triple-double in the finals. I'm pretty good, I would think.
I'm averaging a triple-doubles in the finals. I'm pretty good, I would think. Let me just present some stats to you, Mr. Rose. He is averaging a triple-double, but he does most of his work in the first half. Game 1, he had 19, 11 rebounds and 4 assists in the first half, 9, 4 rebounds and 4 assists in the second half. Game 2, first half, 18 points, 6 rebounds, 10 assists. Second half, 11 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. He goes down in every statistical category between the first and second half. I believe it is because he is tired, and he looks tired. You do not. What do you and LeBron have to say to me?
You do realize that both of the games that the Golden State Warriors won were by 20-plus points, right?
Yes, I do.
So usually when you're the best player in the world and your team is getting thumped, you're not playing the same amount of minutes, number one, in the second half as you probably did in the first.
Mm-hmm.
2, your aggression level changes because you go from being a player that can continue to attack the basket versus one that's playing catch-up, so now you need to shoot more jump shots. 3, the Golden State Warriors are really good defensively. And so if you're going to get your 35 or 40, it's either going to be mostly in the first half or mostly in the second half. You expect them to have 20 in the first half and then duplicate that in the second half? In this series, that may be unrealistic.
Now, those are the numbers, but me and you don't focus too much on the numbers. We both watch the games, and he does take possessions off. I've noticed him in the second half go to the corner and let Kyrie cook. There was one time when he subbed out in the fourth quarter of Game 2 where the camera followed him to the bench, and he just looked exhausted, to me, in my mind. However, there is long breaks in between these games, so he does have plenty of rest. I just feel like he's being worn out with all of the burden that he has to carry on the offensive end for the Cleveland Cavaliers. No Notice every single time a Cavalier gets a rebound, they look right for LeBron James and get him the ball immediately, and he takes it up the entire length of the court. If you look at the Warriors, whoever gets the rebound takes it up himself. Sometimes it's Steph, sometimes it's Klay, sometimes it's Draymond, sometimes it's Durant. I just feel like the burden that he has to carry on the Cavaliers tires him out.
He's basically been dusted and disgusted with the way his team's been playing and how Kevin Durant has had his way on LeBron James while he's been guarding him. Those couple of things have been frustrating to him. Watching his team not be competitive in the first couple of games clearly has him disappointed. But this theory that he's so tired because he's handling the ball on the fast break and bringing it off across half court, he's been doing that all year. They only have two guys that can handle the ball, LeBron James or Kyrie Irving. That's not going to change. So now you're going to tell me that the Golden State Warriors have multiple players that can dribble, pass, and shoot. Did you just figure that out? That's been the case. And lastly, he has a multiple burden to carry because, yes, he's averaging a triple-double. And I love this mature, angry LeBron with all of these humble brags. It's amazing. I just love it. But on the other end, he has to guard KD. And the frustrating thing for him that nobody's going to say that I keep saying is that he's the only one that even has a shot to guard KD. And that definitely has to be frustrating.
Well, the Warriors' defense has been outstanding, and Steve Kerr was asked about it and had a very interesting response. Let's listen to Coach Steve Kerr.
How did you make this such a good defensive team while keeping the pace?
I didn't. Mark Jackson did, honestly.
So Mark Jackson is being credited for giving the Warriors defense. Is this sort of like a mental manipulation from Steve Kerr, or is that really how it went?
Steve Kerr is being real. I mean, if you watch the NBA landscape, two of the hardest things to do is to get a team to play hard every night. Look at the Chicago Bulls, how they performed on a nightly basis when Tom Thibodeau was the coach, just effort-wise, versus when he got fired. They look like a total different basketball team. The second hardest thing to do, ask Philadelphia, who's still trusting the process, who, by the way, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, they're going to be a problem in the league next year. I'm just throwing that out there. Ask the Los Angeles Lakers, who've drafted consistently in the lottery the last handful of years. The hardest thing to do is to build a team through the draft. And when you look at the core group of Golden State Warriors that won a championship a couple of years ago, this is where Steve Kerr is crediting Mark Jackson. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Harrison Barnes, Festus Ezeli. These are all players they drafted and nurtured into the players that they have become. And so that's what Steve is acknowledging. I'm glad that he's doing it, and it's honest.
The Warriors keep talking about how they're not talking about going 16-0. Here is Draymond Green saying, quote, "Nah, we made that mistake by circling 73 and worrying about the wrong thing before." Do you really believe that they are not thinking about potentially going 16-0?
It's almost like saying somebody that works on Wall Street isn't reading the Wall Street Journal. It's what they do for a living. So they're paying attention to every angle. If you would have went to LeBron and said, how many points you're averaging? He'd be like, I don't know. I don't pay attention to that stuff. But then he tell us he averaging a triple-double. It's the exact same thing with Draymond. Yes, they made a mistake of probably going after 73. But not in my opinion. Here's why. Because if said Green doesn't get suspended for Game 5, they win the championship anyway. So to me, chasing 73 was not the reason that they didn't win it all. It's because he got suspended. And so you pay attention to everything that's happening around your team. They clearly know that they're undefeated. They clearly know that they're on the precipice of doing something great. And if it does happen, they understand that they'll be the first team to do it, and that will be something really signature.
Now, even though the games have not been competitive as they got towards the end, this is the highest-rated NBA Finals ever since the Michael Jordan era. Quick question. Is that why you've been focusing so much on your waves?
Absolutely. No question about it. Got to be cleaner than a board of health. And this is the thing. I'm up there with some heavyweights. Michelle got a nickname, Beads. Chauncey Billups got a nickname, Mr. Big Shot. Paul Pierce has got a nickname, The Truth. But thanks to my mom, I'm a household name. Jalen.
Jalen versus everybody. Jalen Rose, you know how to play. We're about to play soft move or boss move. This first one, I have watched this video at least 20 times, and it just happened yesterday. This is sound of Jerry Seinfeld on the red carpet doing an interview about sleep or whatever, and then he is approached by musician Kesha. And here is what happens.
Love you so much.
Oh, thanks.
Can I give you a hug?
No, thanks.
Please?
No, thanks.
A little one.
Yeah, no, thanks.
Oh.
I don't know who that was.
Yeah, it was Kesha.
Okay, well, I wish her the best.
Denying a hug on the red carpet from a celebrity that you don't recognize. Is that a soft move or a boss move?
That's a boss move.
Why is that, Mr. Rose?
Let me tell you why it's a boss move. And it's a Wednesday, so I'm pretty sure women are going to appreciate this more than anybody. Shout out. Dudes feel like the first time they meet you is handshake.
Mm-hmm.
The second time they meet you is dap and a hug. When you're a woman, it's a hug and a kiss. It's like, I don't even know your name. This is the second time I've ever seen you. And also, anybody that's ever been on a red carpet, people wear makeup. And sometimes when you hug people, it gets on your clothes. So you got to watch out for that. And third, it's kind of phony to hug somebody that you don't know. So I'm not mad at it at all.
See, I'm mad at it. I think this is a soft move. Like, what do you have to lose? You know what I mean? Just keep it moving. She's a fan of yours. You're Jerry Seinfeld. You've got the funniest sitcom in the history of sitcoms. Sorry, second funniest next to Jalen versus everybody. You got the second funniest sitcom in the history of sitcoms. If someone's your fan, they're trying to show you love. Don't hate love. If someone is trying to show you love, just give them a hug. I know you would have given somebody a hug. You would give strangers hugs. You would. Like, it's just kind of like, look, man, someone's coming at you with positivity. Don't respond with negativity. And you can just keep it moving. Give her a hug and keep it moving. You don't make it awkward. She doesn't feel bad because you know she walked away blushing and feeling terrible and wanted to cry in the corner. Come on, Jerry Seinfeld, soft move.
Look at it like this. Is it being phony if you do it even though it's not real and you don't want to do it?
Yes. It is probably being phony. I see what you did there. You flipped it on me. You know we're against inauthenticity here on Jalen and Jacoby, but I feel like red carpets and cameras and interviews, that's just a sea of inauthenticity. I feel like you're free from inauthenticity when you are on the red carpet. It's not like he was at a party. Next we have this. Walking out of the gym today, I saw a gentleman in a full suit, looking good, definitely cares about what he wears, and he was wearing an eye patch. Now, I'm going to work on the assumption that this eye patch was not for function, it was for fashion, because that was the feeling I got from it. Wearing an eye patch for fashion reasons, soft move or boss move?
Slick Rick the Ruler and MC Ricky D. Boss move.
I agree.
With
boss
truck
move.
jewelry, with a fur Kango and some valleys.
It was a boss move. I looked at this dude and I was like, I gotta get an eye patch. I was like, I gotta get an eye patch. Like I think I'm in the eye patch market right now. I'm gonna Google eye patch after this. I'm gonna go on Amazon. You're gonna see me with an eye patch on tomorrow.
I can't front. I remember being at the Source Awards maybe 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting a couple of tables over from Ghostface Killer. He had on his robe, and he had on the big iron eagle on his arm.
Oh, that's a gold eagle.
You can barely even get close to him. And I was like, I need to get one of them.
It's good. But, you know, I know you love statues. Ghostface Killer has made statues of fashion accessory. Big shout to Ghostface Killer, one of my favorite MCs of all time.
No doubt, one of the dopest.
Next is this. There's a brand new Buffalo Bills cornerback named Sharice Wright. He was in Chicago, and he needed to get to Buffalo for voluntary OTAs. I don't know what happened. He couldn't take a flight or whatever it was. He ended up taking an Uber across the country to get to Buffalo in an Uber. Is Ubering from Chicago to Buffalo a soft move or a boss move?
A boss move. Here's the thing. When I first heard this story catch a lot of traction, I was like, people clearly don't travel as much as I do. Because these type of things happen for me all of the time. where I land in Chicago, I need to be in Indiana, then I'm going to jump in an Uber. I land in Indiana, I need to be in Detroit, I'm going to jump in an Uber.
Really?
If the flight doesn't work out. I do these type of things all of the time. Los Angeles, San Diego, San Francisco, Chicago. This happens all of the time when I'm in the Midwest and or the West Coast. And definitely when I'm on the East Coast, landing in Boston to go to New York, landing in New York to go to Bristol. This happens all of the time. And the man needed to be at work. $600?
So that's what I want to get to.
Ain't no big deal for a guy that's getting 7 figures to play football.
Jalen Rose, one thing I know about you is you are not just a big tipper. You tip frequently, and you tip everybody all the time. You are most likely going to tip the people that are working at the studio that you're at in Cleveland right now. You tip everybody that comes across you. $632.08 was the fare. What is the tip?
Half of that, $300.
That's exactly what Sharice Wright tipped. Well done, Mr. Rose.
Here's why, and I heard the answer on TV earlier.
Okay.
Because you want to make sure that you give him enough money to get back and not feel like he got to scramble and hustle while he's in Buffalo where they don't have Uber anyway. And by the way, I can't play football somewhere they don't have Uber.
You got to have Uber. I mean, come on, Buffalo Bills. Like, come on, Buffalo. You got to have Uber. There's got to be some people there that want to drive around. But here's the thing about Buffalo is two things that they is not safe in Buffalo. First of all, you can't Uber. That's not safe. Second of all, if you are a folding table in Buffalo, it's just not safe for you there. All folding tables need to leave Buffalo right now. And if you pay attention to sports internet, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Next, we have this. The Tennessee Titans, a bunch of the linemen, have been attending the home Predators games during the Stanley Cup Finals. Another thing they have been doing is chugging entire tall boys of beer ceremoniously during the game. I love the video, but it really got me thinking, is chugging an entire beer a soft move or a boss move?
That's a boss move. It harkens me back to the days of Old English and trying to see if I could drink a 40-ounce nonstop.
What? You've tried to drink a 40-ounce nonstop? Have you ever accomplished that?
What? Huh? Is that a trick question?
You've drank a 40-ounce all at once before? I've never done that.
Let me tell you, multiple times. Let me tell you something. Kind of like we were saying about being motivated to go 16-0, though the Golden State Warriors say that they haven't thought about it or talked about it. When you're dreaming about something, it's almost like a nickname. It started to get different tentacles. So it's like, I want to make it to the NBA one day so I can play against the best in the world, so I can buy my mom a house, so I can have a tub and fill them with 40 ounces. And then I'm like, wait a minute. Once I got to the league, I'm like, the glass will break. And I don't really drink canned beer.
Here's the thing. Much like your ability to run up and down the floor at the same speed as you used to, something tells me you've also lost the ability to chug an entire 40-ounce. And I do not want to put that to the test. Jalen Rose, a researcher, a professor at Stony Brook University, did a study that was published in the New York Times, and I'm very skeptical about it. This study says that players, NBA players, that tweet late at night play poorly the next day. Quote, players scored an average about 1 point less in games following late-night tweets, and their shooting accuracy dropped 1.7 percentage points compared with their performance in games that did not follow late-night tweeting. After a late-night tweet, players took fewer shots, had fewer rebounds, steals, and blocks. Are you buying this study, Jalen Rose?
So I'm glad this study became something for public consumption, because this is a win for athletes, and here's what I mean.
Ooh.
For those who find ways to champagne and campaign or do various things that are kept off wax, no pictures, no videos, unlike, for example, what we saw with the Giants receiving corps on the week of their football game.
You're with me on this one.
This is now the media saying, let's dig a little deeper into exactly what they're doing. So now we're going to follow their tweets. So now, athletes, you know the drill. Late night tweeting, if you out and about, wait till the next morning to send your message. That's number one. Number two, the numbers don't fall off enough for me.
It's like
Only
one point. Yeah, 1 point. Like here's another thing: is if I'm doing something that would hurt my performance in the game the next day, and we can all imagine what those things could be, I'm not going to be tweeting about it. I feel like if I'm up tweeting, if I'm responding to people on Twitter, then I'm probably going to get good rest. It's the people that don't tweet late at night that are doing something else. Those are the ones who probably don't perform that well the next day. Also, 1 point. Like 1 point. Come on now. Now we have this. The gentleman named Robert Bigelow. This dude is a real deal. He is a billionaire. He is not just some crazy crackpot. He's a billionaire, and he's the CEO of Bigelow Aerospace. He has invested millions and millions and millions of dollars into space and space exploration. He was on 60 Minutes, and he is absolutely convinced, again, not a crazy person, a billionaire, he is absolutely convinced that there's extraterrestrial life right here currently on Earth. Jalen Rose, do you agree with Robert Bigelow? Do you think there's extraterrestrials here on this planet?
I used to love watching the late, great Robin Williams and Mort.
Nanu. No one gets that except for us.
I loved watching the Jetsons.
Alf, don't sleep on Alf. Don't sleep on Alf.
Alice.
What about Alf? There's a famous alien right there. Alf is my guy.
But here's the thing. I watched the movie E.T. For like 5 minutes because I got up and bounced. Yeah. It was at a time where you could go to the Mercury Theater in Detroit and you're supposed to get 2 movies for $3, but you actually pay $3 and watch every movie you want all day. And so initially I was sitting in there and I remember the commercial. It touched hands and it lit up. And I thought it was corny anyway. So I'm going to go check this out. I walked in there. I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm about to go watch Purple Rain.
First of all...
So, no, I don't believe it.
You don't believe in any aliens. Because here's another thing. It's like someone... With today's day and age, everyone has a camera phone. Like, someone would have had a Snapchat or an Instagram story. Someone would be pointing a camera at an alien. Like, if there were aliens here for real, if there were really UFOs flying around, someone would have been posted it on Instagram. The Forbes list released their list of the 10 highest paid athletes in 2017. Top of the list is Cristiano Ronaldo. Very handsome man. Second, none other than LeBron James. Followed by Lionel Messi, Roger Federer, Kevin Durant, Rory McIlroy, Andrew Luck, Steph Curry, James Harden, and Lewis Hamilton. There are 4 NBA players on that list, and only Andrew Luck is there from the NFL. Does that surprise you?
It doesn't surprise me. I talk about this a lot on this very program, and I'm going to shape it again for those that haven't heard it.
Okay.
The NFL represents the shield. If you really look at their logo, what is it? A U.S. flag. That's the promotion that they use to draw fans. Mm-hmm. And usually they're astronomical stars like a Tom Brady, who's a 5-time champion, or a Peyton Manning, or now you see a J.J. Watt. But normally, the other 50-plus players on the field, people are really paying to watch the helmets. Yep. In basketball, the logo is what? A player. Jerry West.
Whack logo, by the way.
They're wearing shorts and or tank tops usually. And because of that, they're more recognizable. And with that, playing a sport that has guaranteed contracts, unlike the NFL, other than a signing bonus, it plateaus NBA players into a different stratosphere of popularity. This is why I always talk about the fact that this is why I always note that football can be considered the more popular sport.
It is by the numbers.
They play once a week. But they play once a week, almost like a movie. Basketball is like a sitcom. It happens multiple times during a week. So based on that, if you take the sheer volume, it puts this popularity and it heightens the ability for players to be marketable, their endorsements, and obviously make big-time cash. As you noted, 4 of them in the top 10 of Forbes list, only 1 NFL player.
What jumped out at me from this list is Tom Brady saw this and definitely called his agent. Tom Brady saw this and was like, wait a second. You're trying to tell me that Andrew Luck is on here and I'm not on here? How many Super Bowls I got? How many Uggs commercials do I got to do? How many Aston Martins do I need to sell? Like, Tom Brady is definitely on the phone like, look, forget about selling strawberries, okay? Forget the meal plans. We need to start getting some big endorsement deals.
You forgot about the mattresses and the Uggs.
The Uggs, though. Is there really somewhere someone has a picture of you in Uggs for an advertisement that never came public? True or false?
I never wore the Uggs.
What?
I never wore the Uggs. I shot a commercial with Tom Brady. They didn't have any size 15 Uggs. It wasn't planned for me to even be a part of it.
I'm very skeptical about this. I'm going to write a strongly worded email to the representative of Uggs to see if I can uncover a picture of Jalen Rose wearing Uggs.
Shout out.
Now we have this. This, for some reason, is making the media rounds today. I find this absolutely ludicrous. Dwight Howard is out here on First Take, on The Jump, on different shows. He's saying that he's working on his three-pointer to extend his career. Jalen Rose, will Dwight Howard be efficiently shooting three-pointers in his NBA career?
Not next season.
No. It's at any point?
Here's one of the things. I actually got a chance to say what up to Dwight today. I saw him this morning. Shout out. Today's game, if you're not going to be an ultimate will player like Tristan Thompson, DeAndre Jordan, just run, jump, dunk, block shots, and just be a big body, then you have to be a skill guy to be able to either score on the post and or shoot facing up, in particular, shoot with range. This is why those players become more valuable. Al Horford was that kind of player in Atlanta that didn't shoot a lot of threes. Coaching staff encouraged him to do it. Now he's shooting more threes than ever. Now he's a Boston Celtic. It spreads the floor and has made this game better. But the difference between those two players is Al Horford already had a better touch. And he was always a guy that was a 4 that was really playing 5. And so it's an interesting undertaking for Dwight Howard. But, man, when you're as big and strong as he is, and you have muscles on top of muscles popping out of his head, it's already going to look funny watching him launch threes, because every time you miss, what's the first thing somebody going to say?
He can't make free throws. Why does he think he can make three-pointers?
Get inside.
Next, we have this. Chris Paul's son, Little Chris, Dwayne Wade's son, Zion Wade, have their own basketball analysis television program. It's a stat-based thing. They've got a big sponsor, SAP. Are you surprised that Chris Paul's son and Dwayne Wade's son, a 9-year-old and an 8-year-old, have a show with a higher production value than Jalen and Jacoby?
I am not surprised. The one thing I know about both of those guys is while you get a chance to appreciate Chris Paul and Dwayne Wade and their exploits on the basketball floor, those guys have been terrific entrepreneurs. And I appreciate what they're doing with their kids, getting them involved in media if that's something they want to do. And it's up to us to get a sponsor.
They got a big old sponsor. They got a nice studio. It's edited. They've got graphics down the side of the screen. I was like, man, I'm 30 years older than these dudes, and I'm jealous of their show. We're going to open up our voicemail box. As is always on Wednesdays, we celebrate the women with all female callers. Let's listen to the first voicemail.
Hey, Jalen and Jacoby. Shout out to Reggie. I'm just calling because I have a few questions. My name is Reese, by the way. I'm from Minneapolis. Much love to you guys. I do listen while I'm at work. What I want to know, Jalen, is what you think about if the Spurs were to trade LaMarcus to the Heat for Hassan and sign Rondo, and if the Cavs were to trade JR to the Grizzlies for Tony Allen. So I hope you can answer that, and much love again. Give the people what they want. What up, though?
Reese is working the trade machine.
Thank you for the love. Appreciate the call. Shout out. That was a loaded call.
Yeah, she's got LaMarcus Aldridge being traded. First of all, no one's trading for LaMarcus Aldridge after what he did in these playoffs. For Hassan Whiteside and the Spurs signing Rondo. So let's first evaluate that. Do you think that would give them a contending team against the Warriors?
I just want to temper expectations. No way Pat Riley's trading Hassan Whiteside, a 7-foot guy
Just
that can
signed
get
him.
you buckets, an improving offensive player, one of the league leaders in rebounds and blocks, one of the best rim protectors in the whole league for LaMarcus Aldridge. That's just not going to happen.
And here's another thing is LeBron is not trading J.R. Smith either. That's his guy. Whether he scores 0 points for the rest of the finals, that's LeBron's guy. That's his friend. They hang out off the court. They have the same agent. Some tells me they're not going to ship him out for Tony Allen. Let's listen to the next voicemail.
David, Jalen, love the show. Keep up the good work. Give the people what they want, always and forever. Want to give a shout out to my mom. But I had a question. Me and a couple of my coworkers, we were talking, having a serious discourse about the coaching in the NBA Finals. Can we get this cleared up? Are Ty Lue and Steve Kerr the most overrated coaches ever? Are they essentially the John Grudens of the NBA right now? Is that fair to say? And if not, how much of their success can we attribute to Phil Jackson? Well, anyway, I love the show. Keep up the good work. Shout out to y'all.
Thanks for the support. Appreciate the love.
Shout
I
out.
got to say one thing that's really important. 0 John Gruden slander will be tolerated on this program. That is my guy.
Okay.
Number 1.
Okay, good.
2, what Steve Kerr and Ty Lue were able to do that must get respect and acknowledgement is that they took situations and they elevated them. And so you must give them credit. David Blatt did get them to the finals, but Ty Lue got them to the championship. Mark Jackson did an amazing job with the Golden State Warriors. And by the way, why does he not have a coaching job in the league right now? That
I'm not
is so
sure.
head-scratching to me.
The New York
it's
Knicks-
almost like Colin Kaepernick. I'm like,
The New York Knicks
wait a
couldn't
minute.
use
Why
Mark
does
Jackson.
Mark Jackson not have a
Got
job?
Jeff Hornacek out there. Couldn't use Mark Jackson. Come on, Knicks.
And that's another subject for another day. Mark Jackson did a terrific job with that team. He was fired prematurely, or I do believe he would have taken them to a championship level. But since that happened, Steve Kerr inherited a situation, and as he acknowledged, then took it to another level based on being passed the baton by Mark Jackson. How about this? The dude that was secretly recording Mark Jackson and other coaches with a cell phone zipped on top of a bag has a coaching job, and Mark Jackson still doesn't have one. Colin Kaepernick is somewhere scratching his head about that.
Big Crown is going to go all the way there. He's asked, if Golden State wins the next 2 games, will they party in the land or fly back immediately to Oakland?
What up, though, Big Crown? We appreciate the continued support.
Shout out.
You get on the plane, and you got to get out of here.
You got to get out. You have a couple bottles of champagne. You party in the locker room, but flight leaves an hour after the buzzer. You know what I mean? We got to go. You can stop in Vegas just like the Cavs did. The Cavs did it right. Stop in Vegas. Don't go to Oakland. Well, with the time change, but still, you're going to land in Oakland at midnight. Like, you don't want to chase the fun. You want to land in Vegas where the party never stops, just like the Cavs did. I feel like every NBA team should just go straight to Vegas if they went on the road. This should be a tradition now. Let's listen to another voicemail.
What up, though, Jalen and Jacoby? It's Will from Detroit. Shout out to Reg. I was calling because I've been watching these finals, and I've been searching for somebody. His name is J.R. Smith. Do you think we're going to have a J.R. Smith sighting in this Game 3? Or do you think he might as well just call it a night and then just let Shumpert play all his minutes? Appreciate you guys and watch you guys since day one. Giving the people what they want.
Thanks for the call, Will. Jalen, do you expect a big night from J.R. Smith, or a night, or do you expect him to even show up at all?
I expect role players to be more effective playing in front of their home crowd. In particular, Tristan Thompson, he will get a double-double, points and rebounds. Kyle Korver's going to make a couple of threes. He actually missed a few open ones on the road. Darren Williams will finally actually score a bucket. And last but not least, J.R. Smith, playing in front of his home fans. He will hit a couple of three-point shots. He will look a lot different, and here's why. It won't be because the strategy of the Golden State Warriors changes. They're making LeBron James be a volume scorer. They're making Kyrie Irving be a one-on-one volume-type scorer. They're staying with the role players. And on the other end, they're going at LeBron with KD. On the other end, they're going at Kyrie with the Splash Brothers. So they're making those guys work on both ends of the floor. I do believe, however, the Cavs take game 3. J.R. Smith will be a positive contributor.
We have a great question here from Jay Edwards. On Jalen versus everybody last night, is that how you really hold a hot dog? Dude, so wrong, so wrong. You were really palming that hot dog. Now that Jay brings it up, I'm sort of recalling it in my memory. You did kind of like engulf the hot dog in your hand while you were eating it. Is that how you normally hold a hot dog?
That's a camera trick, okay? The camera's on the floor. I'm 15 rows up. You had to have it high enough so the camera can see it. That's all it was. By the time we finished shooting that, my fingerprints were in it.
Next question is from...
Big shout out to Larry Bird and Tim Duncan and Draymond Green and Rachel Nichols and Ramona Shelburne and David Jacoby and so many people. Anna Marie Horsford, Marla Gibbs.
Shout out.
I hate forgetting people. So many people, so influential. Let me name a couple more people.
Marcellus Wiley. Marcellus Wiley, Tracy McGrady, Chauncey Billups.
Michelle Beadle, Tracy McGrady, Chauncey Billups.
I just said their names.
Shout out.
Let's listen to the next voicemail.
Yo, what up, though? Tyrone from Richmond, Virginia. I want to give a shout out to Reg, John Lawrence, Carlos, Harlan, Kel, Barron, you too, Jalen and Jacoby. Great show last night, by the way. Jacoby, you're an awesome waiter, brother. But soft move and boss move for Jalen to give us some bars on the show. Thanks for giving the people what they want.
One thing I know about Tyrone is he listens to the show. I was so mad when he just shouted out Reggie because I feel like everybody shouts out Reggie. I feel like we should edit out the shout-outs to Reggie. He gets so much. But he does listen to the show, and he wants bars from Jalen Rose. I want bars from Jalen Rose. I'll write you the verse, Jalen. Are we ever going to get bars from Jalen Rose? Tyrone is a person, and that's what he wants, and you say give the people what they want.
Shout out.
I got some bars for you. Thinking of a master plan. Ain't nothing but sweat inside my hand. So I dig into my pocket, all my money is spent. I dig deeper, still coming up with lint. So I start my mission, my residence, thinking how could I get some dead presidents? I need money. I used to be a stick-up kid. Now I think of all the devious things I did. I used to roll up, but this hole up. Ain't nothing funny, stop smiling. Still nothing move but the money. Now I learn to earn cause I'm righteous. I feel great, so maybe I might just search for a 9 to 5. You get the point. Rakim, the 18th letter. And here's the thing. We need to save that call because he named the whole crew. I appreciated that.
Almost the whole crew. There's always more people.
Yeah, forgot John Lawrence.
This is a team effort. He said John Lawrence. This is a team effort. I want to appreciate everybody that works on this show. I want to appreciate everybody that calls in, everybody that tweets. Keep them coming. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for listening on ESPN Radio, for watching on ESPN2 and ESPN News, and subscribing to the Jalen and Jacoby podcast.
And I'm truly humbled by all of the support for Jalen versus everybody. All of the tweets, all of the IG posts, everybody that watched, everybody that supported, I'm forever grateful. You're far too kind.
And we out of here. Yo, what happened to peace? Peace.
Shout out.